I'm here at the VMware vForum 2014 at Sydney's Luna Park, and I'm at the Tintri stand. I'm talking to Adrian Noblett, systems engineer at Tintri, but also the demo man, who's going to show us how easy and simple it is to use Tintri's product. So please go for it, Adrian.
Thanks, Alex. So the Tintri VM store was really designed around solving the problems of complex storage management in virtual environments. And this is the UI of one of our VM stores here that we're accessing out of Mountain View, California. So you can see here you get the traditional storage-centric view of how much space that I've consumed. But more importantly, we start introducing a whole bunch of virtual machine-centric components. So you can see here, not only is the array being consumed in a certain fashion, but these are the virtual machines that are running on the array that are currently consuming space and have been changing over time. When you start drilling into storage things like IOPS or throughput or latencies, you also want to get a view of how the virtual infrastructure is impacting on your storage. And so when we start drilling into those things in the Tintri array, we can start looking at, for example, here we're looking at IOPS across the array, and we can see that we're doing, right now we're doing about 24,000 IOPS. But most of that is actually being contributed by one particular virtual machine, this Tingle J, which is consuming 11,000 of that, so almost half the capacity of the array.
Yep.
If we wanted to drill into just that virtual machine, we get to do that as well. And this is unique to any storage array that is available for hypervisors. So we drill here into this Tingle array. We can see it's doing 10,000 IOPS at the moment. I can actually see the data of this virtual machine over the course of the last 7 days. So I can drill out and see it's pretty consistent being used, consuming a whole bunch of resources in the system. We also start blowing out or showing you things like latency and throughput and how much space is being consumed by each of these VMs, and you can sort according to that. One of the things that storage administrators look at a lot, or virtual machines administrators look at when there's issues in the environment is latency, and how latency is impacting on virtual machines. We've got a couple of really difficult machines that are running inside of our vCenter here at the moment. So if we look at this particular virtual machine, we can see here in the latency graphs, it's doing between 30 and 100 milliseconds of latency, and showing that all as storage level latency. There's obviously a storage problem here. But if we go and actually have a look at that virtual machine inside of the storage system, in this case it's this one called demo host latency, and we drill into the latency graph just for that virtual machine, we can see that actually most of that latency is actually all caused by the host. So I can zoom that in. Zoom in there, bit of a problem, I'll zoom back out. So we can zoom in here and see that most of the latency is actually caused by the host, not by the network at all, but not by the storage at all.
Yep.
So it's really good at giving very fine-grained visibility and control over what the virtual machine is doing on the storage. The other thing is that we fundamentally changed the way that virtual machines are managed in a storage environment. Everything is now per VM, not per data store, not per LUN or volume or aggregate, like your traditional storage players. And so you get to drill down into what each of the individual VMs are doing. So things like snapshotting are done per VM. Things like replication are done per VM. Things like cloning are done per VM. We're designed to have massive over-provisioning. We use thin provisioning technology. We use deduplication and compression to make our systems look really large. We also guarantee capacities as well. And we simplify tasks like cloning. So let's take this particular VM, my Adrian Windows 7 VM. I want to create, I want to spawn this off. I want to create 20 different copies of that.
Yep.
Normally you'd go and do that in an array and it'd go off for a couple of hours and copy all the blocks out. For us, we select a snapshot that we've already got on the system, or we can take a brand new one. I'm going to take a brand new snapshot, and I want to create 20 of these clones. If I hit the clone button, wait about 10 seconds for this process to complete, and then I go back to vCenter, I'll actually see that it's already been loaded into vCenter, and all those clones are now ready for me to be consumed. So I can go and select them and start powering them up, literally within seconds. Now this is a process that typically takes tens of minutes, hours even. We've got customers that are utilizing these capabilities to be able to provision new workloads in seconds and have them up and running. So your time to delivering an application has massively reduced through this technology.
What else can you show us?
So probably the final one is things like replication. So this particular VM, you'll start seeing the clones showing up in this this UI now. Just refresh the UI and it'll show the rest of the clones. one of the things that we do is when you start requiring data protection of virtual machines, we want to replicate that somewhere else. Normally you would replicate all of the virtual machines on a data store to somewhere else. Now we can just select an individual virtual machine, go protect. In our protection profile, we define how often we're snapshotting it, and define which of the data stores we're replicating it to. In this case, it's this CL54001, which I just happen to have a visibility of at the moment, and I can go and find my replica very quickly and easily, which is this one here, and I can then spin that up. So if I needed to spin up a replica from one environment to another environment, I can very quickly do that. Then as we scale out across multiple arrays, multiple data centers around the world in the whole software-defined data center architecture, we need to provide a single pane of glass view of all of the systems that we're managing in this environment. So this is Tintri Global Center, and it aggregates all the statistics from all of our data stores and tells us what we're doing. So at the moment we're doing 156,000 IOPS across all the VM stores. We're managing 10,000 virtual machines. I can drill into the individual VM stores and see what they're doing individually, but more importantly, I can drill into individual virtual machines and find out where they are, what they're doing, how they're consuming. I can look at my busiest VMs and I can drill into those ones. So here I got Tingle PD, which is telling me it's doing 16,000 IOPS at the moment, and it's on this particular vCenter. It's on this VM store. Again, I can drill further into what that particular VM is doing and look at trends over time. We capture up to 30 days worth of data. And so if somebody says I had a problem with this virtual machine last Tuesday, I can look up this very quickly and have a look at that trend and see what changed in that time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.